RAYNET-UK, Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time and is open to all administrative operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment and exchange traffic news, opinions and information, with additional information available on the RAYNET-UK website at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you are instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll pause and repeat who I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, then please do try again, and if you miss your turn to check in, I will call for strays at the end of the UK and international sections. So as usual, I'll now begin taking check-ins to the activity net in call sign number order. So any stations with a figure 8 in their call sign wishing to check in, please call now. This is G4 and RC.
Golf 8 Echo Yankee, G8 EEY, name is Mike.
G4 and RC, I copied Mike, Golf 8 Echo Yankee. Any other 8s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so let's have stations. Figure 7 in their call sign. Please call now. G4 and RC, over.
M7 Alpha Mobile, just sitting out, please, over.
G798, Golf 7 November, Echo Hotel.
Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg. G4 and RC, so far I've got Mark, Mike 7 Lima, Papa November Mobile, who's in and out, and Graham, G7 and the H, and Dave, M7 AVO, staying with me. Any other 7s, please? G4 and RC, over. For an RC, nothing heard, so let's have 6s. Stations figure 6 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, second call, any stations figure 6 in their call sign, please call now, over. RC, nothing heard, so let's have 5s. Stations figure 5 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. For an RC, we don't have many 5s in the organisation anyway, so let's go for 4s. Stations figure 4 in their call sign, please call now. G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, Golf 4 Kilo Uniform Juliet, Trevor in Watford.
G4XUR, Golf 4 X-Ray Uniform Romeo. Name's David, located in Somerset, in and out at the end of net today, please.
G4 WQB Keith.
for NRC. So far I've got Trevor, G4KUJ, and Keith, Golf 4 Whiskey Quebec Bravo staying with me, and David, Golf 4 X-Ray Uniform Romeo in and out. Any other fours, please? G4 NRC, over.
G4KIL, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, Phillips, South Sussex.
For Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, G4A Job. G4 NRC, so that's added Golf 4 Whiskey, no, it hasn't, it's added Philip, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, and Phil, Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot. Okay, let's go for 3. Stations figure 3 in that call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, Ian.
Three Zulu Hotel X-Ray, good afternoon, Ian. Any other threes, please? G4 and RC, over. For an RC, nothing heard, so let's have 2. Stations figure 2 in their call sign, and that includes you intermediate 2s. Please call now. G4 and RC, over. For an RC, second call, any stations figure 2 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. Nothing heard, so let's have 1s. Stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, Drew, West Devon.
G1ATY. That name's Brian, in and out. G1ATY, thank you, Brian. I wondered if I'd got some time warp there. Copied you in and out. Mike Foxtrot Sierra, just hold on a moment. Any other ones, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard. Let's have Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over.
M0 JSA, Alan, East Suffolk.
G4 and RC, good afternoon, Alan. Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha, and I'm putting Drew, Mike 0 Mike Foxtrot Sierra in after you, so you'll have to stand to be the last. Any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, over. For an RC, nothing heard, so let's have Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, over.
Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-Ray. Good afternoon, Greg. Name is Andy, RAYNET Pembrokeshire. No traffic today, so in and out, please, over.
EW0JLX, good afternoon, Andy, and thank you for calling the in and out. Take my usual shortcut. Any UK stations who've missed their turn to call in, please call now, over. For an RC, nothing heard. Do we have any of our international colleagues on the talk groups today? That's usually Nuts and Van of Norway, Aaron in Ireland, Aries in Slovakia. Any of our international friends, please? G4 and RC, over.
Lima Alpha 6 India Mike, name is Hans. We'll be listening through, but in and out, Greg.
Alpha 6 India Mike, good afternoon Hans, and copied you in and out. So any final call, any station UK or international that's missed their turn to call in, please call now, G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard. Okay, start with the usual bit of the script. Today's net is being live streamed by Graham, G7NEH, to YouTube today. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7NEH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, on YouTube. Over the last 24 hours, 51 groups have had their temporary repeater call signs reissued for the coming year. 8, however, are still unresponsive. They don't habitually attend this DMR net, but should be getting chased before their call sign allocation lapses on the 28th of February. This is the first renewal of temporary repeaters under the new regime, and it hasn't all been plain sailing, with increased pressure on spectrum in the band plans. The change in licence conditions meant a 36% increase in the number of full-time repeaters, 68% in gateways and 52% for packet nodes. On the positive side, while our ad hoc use of the 7.6 MHz wide split repeater pairs flexed by 12.5 kHz either side of the formal allocation has been badly affected by this growth and pretty much withdrawn now, we do have 2 more formally designated 9 MHz split frequencies and 70 centimetres, which may alleviate some issues. The country is under a variety of weather warnings for rain and high winds today, though 9 groups are shown as being active for a variety of events today, from half marathons through to dog sled events. Hopefully, however, the Brigstock Mud Run in Northants didn't live too much up to its name. The event season is starting to pick up, however, so big plea, would all groups please log their activities in the event diary so we can try and spot any frequency clashes, because it is going to get harder as we try and adapt to the new regime. On the energy networks, the gas storage tanks are down to 24% full, but are refilling again after a bit of a lull earlier in the week, and the electricity networks aren't showing any significant loss of load probabilities for the coming few days. One sad piece of news that's going to go into this but not into the script is, as part of the exercise for call sign renewal, found out that John Tricky, Golf 4 Romeo Echo Victor, who has been on this net some time, sadly passed away on the 14th. Obviously our thoughts with family and the groups as they adapt to a massive gap that needs to be filled, and we'll miss him. Okay, so what thoughts for everybody else? Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, right to you Mike, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC from G8EEY. Yep, all copied. Weather here, well, we had a nice couple of days of quite warm weather. Well, anything up into around about 17 degrees, I believe, on Friday or Saturday. So I actually managed to do a bit of aerial testing out on the roundabout in front of my front door. Not the same today, though. Back down to 9 degrees centigrade, 1017 millibars, 85% relative humidity, and total cloud cover. And yes, we are getting a nice wind turbine viable 21 mile per hour at the moment, gusting to 38 from 183 degrees. Well, there you go. Received your email about the temporary repeaters. Well, that could be interesting. One of my special frequencies, of course, is the one that's associated with the high power one. But I'm willing to provide any sort of information you need. Yeah, just one thing. I was actually doing a bit of research into the Kessler effect when it comes to things that might render our services no longer necessary, i.e. the satellite ones. Quite interesting. From G8EEY.
Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee G for NRC returning. Oh, where should we go in reverse order? The Kessler effect, where a runaway chain reaction destroys a good part of low Earth orbits with satellite debris as they'll hit each other, is one thing, but what might focus your mind a little more is, I think it was last week, a rather large lump of debris fell on Poland, which was identified as being an ex-SpaceX rocket that had not broken up as expected on the way down. It is getting messier up there, and I've forgotten the figure of how many ex-Starlink satellites are being deorbited every week. That place in the South Pacific where they try to bring them down, which is furthest away from everywhere, is probably getting quite busy now. Special frequencies, aka not the ones covered by Note 10 in the band plan for community and emergency use. Yes, well, I've got to work my way around those. High power repeaters are also needing to be sorted out, but I'll get to it, Mike. First thing was just to get the 60 groups who were due to lose their temporary repeater allocations renewed before we hit the 28th. And you'll be doing well with the weather. From what I saw earlier, the band of rain which is threatening to cause flooding in South Wales might have petered out by the time it gets to your location, so you might be on a winner there. Right, let's go to Graham, G7 in the H, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, G7 in the H, returning. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to all on the net. Last week's viewing figures were 39 views and 5 likes, so that's good. Yeah, weather here today, raining at the moment, been raining and windy on and off all day. Temperature's 10.5 degrees, humidity is 92%, and scroll down on my phone. Wind speed is 5.1 mile an hour, with an average wind gust at 6.9 mile an hour. The highest wind gust today has been 20 mile an hour. So there we go. I'll give you this week's figures on the stream on the next round. G4 NRC, G7 in the H.
G4 NRC returning. Okay, well, I think I know when the 20 mile an hour gust was. The halyard pulling my long wire antenna up onto the pole at the back of the house is rather taut. And if the wind hits it at just the right direction, it screams, or sings, depending on how you want to look at it, usually associated with the higher winds in a particular direction. I could do something about it, but one day I'd actually like to be outside when it does it rather than inside the house, just to see how loud it gets. But yes, definitely know it's been windy. Okay, thanks for the report, Graham. Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. I'm guessing we're good to be at the fire station for 7 o'clock for the group AGM. G4 NRC to M7 AVO, over.
NRC. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Just an apology for being absent a few weeks. We've had some issues, family issues. I'll explain a lot more when I see you. Yes, no problem. 19 o'clock issue times at the fire station should be fine with me. I'll be there a bit earlier. I've got some of that there e-learning to catch up on it there, shouting at me over. But I've got Wi-Fi password, and hopefully we can set up with the big screen and the camera speaker gizmo that they've got there, should anyone wants to do it virtually. But all fine with me, Greg, no problems. You can count me out after this round, please, but any other issues read Tuesday, drop us an email or give us a call on the mobile, no problem. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar.
so breaking my head down, and WQB was calling on the echo test for a moment. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Okay, copy you out on that one. Yeah, aim to be there for 7 o'clock. My biggest challenge is actually getting out of work on time, which I'll be taking great steps to make happen tomorrow when I'm in. So I can be there with plenty of time to get stuff sorted out, and we'll bring some reserve cameras and speaker just in case the room AV doesn't play. Okay, thanks Dave, thanks for checking in, and see you Tuesday. Next to Trevor, G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ, replying. Good afternoon to you, Greg and everybody else. Fairly busy week this week, not had a chance to get on to HF at all, including the Pactor neck, but hopefully this coming week it's a bit freer, so I should have a bit more time. Thanks for all the paperwork on the temporary repeaters. That's all received safely, thank you. And noted about the two new frequencies with the 9 meg split. Get it right, Trevor. I'll have to think about that, because at the moment the Procom duplexers that I've got on the repeater, or the two repeaters, the digital one and the analog, are both set up on the 430.8, the old frequency, or the single frequency now. And of course they are very critical they won't cover a wider split. So I'll have to dig out and see what other duplexers I've got lying around somewhere, and perhaps even some old Storno ones, to see if I can set those up on 9 megs. Anyway, back to you, and I'll be around till the end of the net. G4NRC, G4KUJ. Oh, and I'm coming back. I've tested the YSF link today, and that's working fine, from G4KUJ.
G4NRC seems to have a bit of a clash on the bridge then. Philip Mike India 0 Mike Sierra Oscar was talking. I could see on the Brandmeister side, but didn't hear anything. Stand by, Philip. I shall call you in at the end of this round, see if you were actually going to stay with us. Trevor, duplexes, yes, you're not the first. People who buy good duplexes do have more problems. There's the cheaper ones that are just some high pass and low pass filters, which are great for the wider split stuff. Slightly less fussy, so yeah, it's all understood. Didn't have a lot of choice about it. It just turned into what was left, given the land grab that had been done for repeaters and gateways to hit that massive increase in demand, which I think will take some time to roll out and work out. Okay, Keith, Golf 4 Whiskey Quebec Bravo. I wonder if you're still on this talk group, because you flipped off to the echo test for a while there. G4WQB, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4WQB. Well, good afternoon to everybody, and thanks for letting me on. I've had a Senix N61 sitting on my desk for the last, year or more. The first time I've used it in action, so that's I'll just make sure it was all working. But I do have an interesting one. I've got Enrico S200, and I can communicate through the RAYNET server perfectly well using Wi-Fi, but it refuses point blank to work through the GSM network. I've been through it. I've port forwarded and pinholed and all the rest of it, and I think I'm coming to the conclusion it's got a GIF-GAF card in it, and it may well be that is where the issue lies. Apart from that, the weather, I've got birds going by at an amazing speed. It's starting to blow quite hard here. Back to you, G4WQB.
Quebec Bravo, G4 and RC returning. Okay, Keith. Yeah, I'm not sure that GIFGAF data is absolutely blocking everything. Wonder when you say you're on the GSM network, are you truly on GSM as in 2G, or are you on the 4 or 5G networks? I am getting more and more the feeling that the data rate on GSM is getting too slow for modern services to want to deal with, and that could be a feature. But to be fair, I have also had some issues with websites getting blocked by some random policies of a network provider. Okay, see if we have any more thoughts on that on the way round, but we'll go to Philip, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4 and RC, over.
G4 RC, G4KIL. Yeah, more or less just back from my first event for the year, assisting West Kent with Tunbridge Wells half marathon. Went well. Weather's been quite pleasant around here. I think they were worried that it was going to be very windy, but a little bit gusty, but really nothing to talk about. A little bit chilly too, but again, nothing to really worry about. So it really went very well. We did have an interesting time at the beginning. There had been communication with another local group about the use of the frequency that was intended to be used on 2 meters FM, but there seems to have been a misunderstanding, which meant that there was a need to move, which did cause some confusion, I have to say. In fact, the confusion, I think, was further increased by the fact that the policy had been to that all stations would transmit out on 2 meters and listen back on 77s. So the 77s one was fine. That frequency was fine. So it sort of led to the impression, well, I'm just not getting heard by the control. Where the reality was we hadn't realised they'd issued the edicts to move to the other frequency. And I mean, the 77 frequency was not very clear either. In fact, when we ended up operating on the other one, we really went back to simplex on 2 meters. But there we go. It worked through. We worked our way through it, and that was the main thing. So that was good. HF, as you all have noticed, I've not been on. I think I said I didn't even think I would be, being Fridays this month, and again most of the ones next month. Unfortunately, they're not good evenings for me. Hopefully, be up on the Saturday one. So I've got the 2 consecutive ones this coming week, the 28th of February and the 1st of March. So I don't expect to make the 28th of February, but we hope to make the 1st of March 2 o'clock one. But then probably not for the rest of March. Other thing happening in March is our local group. We have on the first Tuesday of March, we have a little exercise, which is like a simulated support event, but very quick event. So it gives us a chance to. We did it last year, basically going to repeat the same one again this year. So just we're all out for about 15 minutes for a meet again at the end of 45 minutes. Meet up again at the end of the 45 minutes and for a debrief. That really worked quite well last time, and good discussion on voice procedure and so on. That's it for me at the moment, but I'll stay on for the next one round. G4GNX? No, that was that's a different net. This is G4KL finished for the moment anyway, over.
For KIL, G4 and RC. Okay, I wasn't totally confused by that, only a little bit. Yeah, interestingly, the short exercises can be quite valuable and don't take up that much time if you can just get everybody together into the one place, which is a problem we have in some other parts of the country. Phil, G4HUF, G4 and RC, over.
This is G4HUF. Good afternoon, all. I'm going to play devil's advocate in a second, because I've been busy sorting myself out with preparations for next weekend because I'm going across into Derbyshire to help out their crowd with an event on the Saturday, and I went on the events diary and entered it in as an assist. Somehow or other I managed to enter it in 4 times, so then I had to work out how to delete 3 of them, but that was resolved in due course, which was fun. And basically I spent my time updating everything as far as
G4HUF lost your signal. Please repeat everything after updating. Over.
For HF, you missing me, Greg?
G4HUF lost everything after updated. Everything after updated. Over.
Yeah, battery died on the handheld, and of course I'd got the other handheld on standby with a completely charged battery, but it didn't have an antenna on it, so there was a bit of a delay while I was swapping over antennae. Not to worry. Yeah, I was going on about updating the event diary and all the rest of it, and we've got everything sorted out there, so I was quite pleased to have achieved that. But then I noticed something. The Zone 10 meeting is not shown on the diary. Is it still happening on Sunday? Is the question. And of course, the weather conditions here, listening to Manchester 80s just before I called in, pressure of 1007, wind direction 190 degrees, 19 knots. They don't refer to gusts on the 80s. If you want to know what the gusting is doing, you got to listen to the control frequency, and temperature here is plus 11 according to the airport. So I think that was it. And yeah, the only other thing to mention is that I've committed Patricia and myself to go down to Suffolk. We're on the list for the long distance walkers job, so that will be something to look forward to in May. So that's it from me. I'd appreciate an answer with regard to Sunday. This is G4HUF.
Or HUF, G4NRC returning. Okay, answer a question with a question. Yeah, probably my bad, the Zone 10 meeting's not in the events list, but Lisa did put the notice of calling out, etc., etc., even though she isn't actually going to be there herself. So yes, there is a zone meeting on Sunday, which is the other reason it's been a bit fraught trying to get everything renewed this week with lots of other stuff going on. So okay on that one. And yes, some sympathies. I look at the radios lined in front of me here. I think getting my so-called spare on air could be a little bit difficult, even though it is fully charged. But I am now cropping programming leads for radios at an accelerating rate, and actually having to start labeling them up as to which one does which. So when I could find the offending unit to get this, what's this horrible little radio, the RD5R programmed up, it'll be a more useful spare rather than being a toolkit piece as it was quite a few nets ago. Okay, Phil, your question so answered. We shall move to Ian. Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC and the group, good afternoon. This is G3ZXX. As regards your halyard, Greg, there's an old American saying, when it don't rain, the roof don't leak. When it's raining, can't fix it no-how. I'm only a mile or so from Keith, so it'll be not too surprising that the weather here is very similar. It's in fact what we call baby weather, which is shorthand for wet and windy, though it is quite a bit warmer than it was this time last week. And with that complete lack of information, I shall go back to standby and wait for the next round. G3 ZHX.
G3 ZHX, G4 and RC returning. Wasn't that informative? I hadn't heard baby weather as a phrase before. Might get used through the course of the week, depending on how bad it gets. Okay, thanks Ian. Alan, Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to hear you all out. Haven't been on for a few weeks. I apologise, but I've been very busy. Not been able to get onto the net through lack of time, really. But out on our first duty of the year today, Tarpley 20 mile and 10 mile run. That's really a Forest Heath duty, but they were busy in the forest doing something else, so we took that one off them and do it ourselves, although albeit with Forest Heath help, which is a bit strange really, but never mind. Yeah, it's very windy. Fortunately I was sheltered by a hedge, but above the hedge my 10 metre high 2 metre antenna was blowing about somewhat for the APRS. But all in all, a good day. Interesting to hear that Phil, G4 UHF, is coming down for the LDWA. Look forward to seeing him, and all the other remote RAYNET groups are going to come and help us out with that. We're doing a lot of planning, and it's looking very good, and looking forward to that. Other than that, not much more to say. I had on AGM yesterday. Ian Moffat, G0OZS, remains group controller. There's been some detailed changes below him, all of which I suspect will appear on a national database in due course, if not already. I've nothing else much to say, so I'll make it no final, but I'll listen to the end, Greg. G4 NRC, M0, JSA in the group.
JSA, G4 and RC returning. Okay, yeah, we'll tend to not put a 10 metre high antenna up if I've got really high winds, but this is probably born of a half marathon many years ago where we had a 7 metre fishing pole flying a Slim Jim, and it had the temerity to break a couple of sections down. Of course it fell into the vertical polarisation, so other than a little loss of coverage, it was just, most signals gone down a little bit. Look out through the sunroof. Yes, it was raining, but look out through the sunroof and see the antenna is there waving at me. So I do tend to think about how we do those now. Okay, noted you out on that one. Let's go to Drew. Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, G4 and RC, over.
G4 RC, M0 MFS. Okay, where to start? Thanks for the updated temporary repeater, although I obviously need to look more closely at it now because all this talk of 7.5 split and broke-on duplexes, I think I fit in that camp. So I will need to have a look at that. Just a bit of info. I've connected Philip MI0 MSO in Northern Ireland into the UK mesh over the last couple of weeks, so we've now got a tunnel out to include some of our northern colleagues. We are trying to get an AGM together, and we're not doing very well at getting enough quorum. Although we did a constitution change virtually, but even virtually seems to be a challenge at the moment. So I'm going to have to do something about kicking some members. Other than that, I think that's that for this one from M0 MFS.
Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, G4 NRC returning. Okay, now you prompted me nicely with that, so I noted, I don't think I mentioned it last week, but that the Arden firmware had been updated and now includes 44 net addresses, which I think could be a very interesting step forward for having really routable stuff off the internet. But one of my nodes is being resistant to change. says it's just not finding a route out to get an update. So others are doing it. It's sort of a slow process, but I don't think I have a problem with the frequencies for the mesh in house. This beast should be connecting, but it isn't. So I'm wondering if I have a node, one of the little HAP lights, which is actually got a broken Wi-Fi of all things. So suspect your advice at that point is I've got to download the firmware file the hard way and update it and see if everything magically comes back to life afterwards, rather than trying to do an over-the-air update. But yes, Arden is still still here and growing here off and on when I'm not doing paperwork. Okay, thanks Drew. Let's see if Philip was actually going to stay with us. Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, G4 and RC.
G4 NRC, I think about a saying as M0 NSO today, as I'm in the Northwest. So, thanks for having me severely in Arden, and just the issue you had, I had the same issue with my app light, and I had to manually download the file and do it that way. Craig, but everything worked well. So, yeah, and maybe I'll just a bit detailed, but I'll monitor annoying and may come back and I do from M0 MSO.
Oh, got me at it now. Mike 0, Mike Sierra Oscar. Good. Okay, Philip changed it there. Slightly broken audio and verbally audio from you on your mobile setup. Okay, you've got round this by manually downloading the Arden update. I don't think it's an issue with the HAP lights. I think it's with one specific one that I've got, because two of them have updated correctly and over the wire, as it were, without having to do anything strange with getting it onto a laptop and doing an upload that way. So I'm wondering if there's a bit of a hardware issue kicking around, but okay, if you've gone down the manual route as well, I shall do the same. And I would like to have things running a little bit more here, and I can get back to putting some services up. Okay, don't think I had anything further that's arisen out of that, so Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, back to the top of the list, and back to you for a reminder of when's the com meeting again, over?
G4 NRC from G8EY, that was top of my list. This Thursday coming, Greg. Thursday the 27th, I think it is. That was on my list to remind you. Just to say that Alan's information about the Suffolk AGM, yep, I got all the notification from registration, so that should have gone into the system okay. Don't think I've got anything else to add from this end, so thanks for running the net, and look forward to seeing you Thursday from G8EEY.
Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC. Okay, yeah, it's a busy week one way or another, so at least I have a day in theory to do something. Okay, thanks Mike, see you then. Graham, G7NEH, I'm guessing with the wind being up, you haven't had a chance to use those brackets and pole and get the weather station onto a slightly higher footing. G7NEH, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, G7NEH. No, not yet, Greg. They're still in the garage, but we'll get to put them up at some point, I hope. This week's views, we've had 15 views this week, 3 likes, and there are 4 concurrently viewing on the stream. So good afternoon to them if they're not on RF. And just a quick question for Phil, G4HUF, that I don't know whether you're going or not next Sunday, Phil, to the zone meeting. But if you could just drop us a few notes on the group's activities during the year, and I can read them out on a county report next Sunday. But if you're going, you can always do it yourself from G78.
G78, G4 and C. Okay, thanks for the updated figures, Graham. Guessing nobody's made any comments or questions in the chat on the YouTube. Having the YouTube thing running in parallel and having that extra feedback from people that might not be able to make it onto the DMR net did just remind me, and no, I haven't got time to do this, but a radio show I listen to actually falls onto YouTube after the show and does a bit of a phone in and an open session there. I'd like to try and find how they do it, whether or not we could ever had that segregation of, well, here's the RAYNET activity period on the talk groups with all 75 hotspots and 13 repeaters, etc. engaged, but then have something a little bit more dynamic and less restricted by licensing conditions on YouTube afterwards. But if we're not getting the feedback on the comments, then probably no point in that. Okay, Phil will have heard your comments. We'll go to Trevor next. And Trevor, if you do try Pactor, I actually got in reasonably well to HB9AK on 40 metres the other night, so I'm thinking propagation might have swung us away towards more reliable 40 metre links and getting Peter to move. G4KUJ, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, G4KUJ. Yep, fine, Greg. You preempted my question as to whether you'd had any success during the week on Pactor, so that answers that question. I'll endeavour to get on during this week and see if there's any traffic from Peter. I might try 20 metres in the afternoon just in case there's a path there. Don't think there's anything else at the moment. All being well, I expect I should be around next week. It's fairly blustery at this end. Started just after sort of lunchtime, but forecast was for 40 mile an hour. But I don't think it's anywhere near that at the moment. Thanks for running the net. Take care. G4 NRC, G4KUJ.
AUJ, G4 and RC. Okay, yep, thanks for that. 80 metres I still haven't managed to make a good contact due to DB0 and TS, so I'm just pretty much reckoning that's a wipe out through high noise levels here, and must do better for next winter. Okay, thanks Trevor, let me know how it gets on. Keith, Golf 4, Whiskey Quebec Bravo, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, G4 WQB. Yeah, nothing more from this end. It's just sort of getting gloomier, wetter, and more windy. So look out, Tunbridge Wells. All the best to everybody. G4 WQB to stand by.
Golf 4, Whiskey Quebec Bravo, G4 and RC. Okay, Keith, well, thanks for checking in today. Didn't do that, but we have 16 check-ins, which is getting back towards the useful numbers again. And have a good week. Okay, Philip, do note that by the accident of the Gregorian calendar, nets are not brilliant for you for the next couple of months, but hopefully next Saturday propagation will be nice and good for a 40 metre net, and maybe no contest, but I don't know why I've got a bad feeling about that. G4KIL, G4 and RC, over.
G4 RC, G4KIL. Yeah, well see what happens on that one. I think my only other comment I think I had to come up with, we had some excited discussion about Meshtastic on our local WhatsApp group in this last week or so. So if that people go ahead with that, I may have something to report on that in a while, but obviously not just yet. Okay, thanks for running the net, and I hopefully speak to you on Saturday on HF. Otherwise, should be on next Sunday. G4NRC, G4KL, listen to the end of the net, but signing.
G4KIL, G4NRC. Well, yeah, I've had similar enthusiasm. One thing what I'm seeing with Meshtastic is it's just like APRS. It's an unconnected network, hence the mesh, and they've had problems with people, too many stations on using the wrong modes, causing blocking on the frequencies. So suffering exactly the same growing pains as APRS did. The 868 megahertz frequency is fine. We just have a little bit of caution that LoRa, the modulation scheme, Meshtastic is a little bit of a layer on top, is available for use on 433 megahertz, but finding space in 77s to get that stuff done is getting harder. And there are some concerns if you take a tiny little 433 Meshtastic / LoRa mode and put it through an amplifier. Your consumed spectrum grows quite radically if things aren't set up quite right. However, I am waiting for, somewhere in England now, a little Meshtastic node to appear here just so I can say, yes, okay, tried it. But I think there's probably just as much going for or available for using different data modes with better data rates on the bands we've got with higher power. But at least, as you, I will have had a look and given it a try. Okay, thanks, Philip. Talk to you next week, hopefully. Phil, G4HUF, G4NRC, over.
This is G4HUF. Right. Well, as you can imagine, with Graham's comments, I thought, something hell, I'm going to have to sit down and think about what we've done in the last 12 months. Perhaps I shouldn't go up to the zone meeting and then I could just slope-shouldered and say, well, you and Graham have been told everything that we've been up to, and you kept regularly up to date with our activities, so you've got it to hand anyway. But not a problem. We'll cobble something together. Not that it'll be very exciting. Basically, last year we had just the one event, plus a couple of others where we helped, and that was it. But not a problem. I shall generate some waffle. Does it need to be a 10-minute waffle or a 5-minute waffle, or would you like me to go for the full 15, Greg? So, yeah, not a problem. We'll get that sorted. And in the meantime, I've just noticed that I've had an email from Derbyshire Dales with updated paperwork, so I'll have to ditch the paperwork that I've already nicely printed out, ready to go in that DeWalt folder stroke document case that will get christened on Saturday, and print out a fresh pile of paperwork. Hey ho, such is life, as they say. Anyway, on that note, I think there's nothing else exciting from this end, so I shall say 7 threes to everybody. Thanks for running the net, and we shall look forward to the next time. G4NRC, this is Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot.
HUF, G4NRC returning. Okay, yeah, so I have exactly the same, but people get fed up of hearing me speak at the zone meeting, so Graham pulling something together for the county was much appreciated here. and if it gets written down, it gets even better, because there's no Lisa there to do the secretarying. Everything I can cut at least to make the minutes easier is much appreciated. So, we are where we are. Some groups will put in a full 2 pages, others will give a paragraph, and they are all of equal value because it's what we make of it in the discussion that counts. So, okay, oops. A little bit of an unfortunate deletion there out of the log, which has just been put back. Okay, Phil, we'll have fun fighting the rainforests with briefing notes, and hopefully everything goes well next week. 7 trees to you, and Ian, Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC in the group, G3ZHX. Yes, I don't think I've got anything useful to add at the moment, but I shall be on deployment next Saturday, so perhaps there'll be something I can say next time I'm on. So, thank you for running the net, Greg, and I'm going to sign now, but listen to the end, G3ZHX.
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G4 and RC. Okay, well, good luck with the event next weekend, and if there's any learning, then please do bring it back to share, because part of the joy of bringing people together from around the country is we can get that stuff with the better it happened to you than happening to me kind of approach. Okay, take care, Ian. See you soon, and 2 left on my log. So it's Drew, Mike 0, Mike Foxtrot Sierra next, G4 and RC, over.
G4RC M0MSS. I feel I've answered it perfectly with the, as far as the Arden is concerned. Recently I've been getting that fails to download problem on random nodes for random periods of time. My primary gateway gave it to me a couple of weeks ago just for one update, but then I put that update on mine and then the next one went over 5. I've got a niggling feeling it's something to do with latency to the download servers. I was going to talk to Ori about whether we should have a download server hosted somewhere in Europe rather than in America. I'm also not 100% sure whether the changing to the mesh routing algorithms might be having some play there. So that's that one. Funny enough, I find myself in exactly the same camp with Meshtastic. I actually just ordered one to say I've tried with it, and I think I've already convinced myself that it's not something I want to progress, but I know some of the Exeter guys are, so I thought I should at least play. And then as a final, I think the idea of having a more unstructured or unrestrained net on something afterwards is quite interesting. I'm not sure if YouTube is the best place to put it, but that would be a subject up for discussion, I guess. That said, thanks for running the net, and 73 to all, and I'll catch you next week from M0MFS.
Foxtrot Sierra, G4 and RC returning. Okay, I had tried fairly randomly across a couple of days, but I'll give it another go for my offensive node before I resort to manually beating it into submission. There was, who is it? Gilles, the radio prepper on YouTube. He did a very strange video where he had an AI do an auto dubbing into English from native French about how in France the Meshtastic nodes were getting a bit messed up with people wanting to do their own thing and selecting their own long fast or short fast or whatever settings. So it was breaking into lots of little pieces. So I think the cracks are there, but it's only the same cracks as we experienced with APRS. There's nothing a great deal new under the sun with this. It might be interesting as an interface to the public. If there's a lot of public use of Meshtastic, it could be something else to monitor to provide a link back into the user services in wider area emergencies. Just can't connect it directly, I don't think. I've written down a more unrestrained net after this one. Yeah, YouTube is just what the other mob use, and it is broadcast radio after all. More likely to be one of my favourite hidden Jitsi servers where there's no great options for recording, and everybody can log in and have a proper say rather than having to phone up and be put on the air, as it were. Okay, thanks for the input on Arden, much appreciated, and I'll let you know how we get on next week if we get the time to try and complete these updates. Okay, last one on the net today is Philip Mike Sierra Oscar, G4NRC.
G4 NRC, Mike Sierra Oscar returning. Yeah, so quick update on Arden, etc. Yeah, as can't mind his call now, but yeah, I got connected back to the Supernode. I noticed that I'm the only one appearing on the map on the island of Ireland, so I must ask our guys for their Arden status over the next week or two. Try and get them connected again. Considering a Supernode for the island of Ireland, get the guys in EI connected to the idea of a local server in the UK for downloads and whatnot would be excellent. Might help in some situations. So it's not necessarily Arden, but it will be connected to Arden. As you know, Greg, I've received my 3 NRT 70 devices, and I've got them programmed up or configured this week. I have the NRP H2, which I'm going to use as a master. I expect to receive delivery of a 77's big wheel antenna tomorrow from Wimmo or whatever. I believe it's arriving tomorrow, which I'll use on the master. And then I am going to order some Yagi 77's Yagis for the other slaves and get that set up and start playing with that and see what we can do over that. I did buy a second-hand 48 element 77's antenna today at the Red Rose Rally in Lee, where I'm at the minute. So just come over for the weekend for a break and to attend the rally and pick up a couple of cables for the DigiRig, which I was able to buy the DigiRig. Okay, but the cables had to come from America, and they wouldn't send them to Ireland, but they would send them to mainland UK, so I got them sent to my cousin's house here and picked them up. So we'll be playing with that over the next couple of weeks too, so not much more to update. There will be a bit of progress hopefully in the next couple of weeks, see how we play with data and how we can offer data, because that was one of the asks from the recent call out that we had, or the call to standby. And next Saturday is the first rally of the year in GI, and it's also the annual coordinators get together, and where we decide who's going to be the zonal coordinator for the following year. I don't think there'll be any changes there, Greg, anyway, but we'll update you next week. Okay, thank you again for bringing me onto the net. I was a wee bit late switching on the hotspot, hence the reason I PTT'd earlier to get the talk group going, and
Mike Zero Oscar G4NRC, you timed out at 180 seconds, Philip, but your audio was much better, but now the hotspot settles down. Mike Zero Oscar G4NRC, over.
Yeah, G4NRC, Mike Zero Oscar. Yeah, I did move the hotspot a bit further away from the radio and near a window, because the network maybe just isn't as good where I had it. But I was just saying about a couple of updates. Hopefully you got the updates, what we're playing with, and the annual meeting of coordinators is next week, where we select our zonal coordinator, but I don't see any changes from that, and more to update next week. Over.
Zero Mike Sierra Oscar G4NRC. Yeah, okay, look forward to the update next week. This does kind of align back to Phil's comments about how much of a report do I want. next week is a messy day for me. Something is going to have to give. I've got the zone meeting in the daylight hours. We're going to have to wrap that up so Graham and I can get back in time to actually run this net at 4. And it looks like I'm going to have to be giving in on basketball because I can't weave that into the day as well, given the amount of running around I'll have to be doing. So yes, if we do sound a little less organised than usual next Sunday, please forgive us, but it's what happens when you have multiple things happening on one day. Okay, but it's been nice having a non-time bound net this week, but we will bring it to a close. So thanks everyone for taking time out of your schedules to participate this afternoon. Be careful, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I will close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net on 23531 Pheonix and Brandmeister and 50235331 on the RAYNET-UK system, and return those total groups to being an open net rather than a directed net. 730 all, this is G4NRC now closing and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye bye.